Yo, people, what are you saying? What are you spraying? You get me? It's the big day. It's the big day. It's actually the big day. It's Judgment Day for Arsenal. It is therefore Judgment Day settings. And people, I got a few brothers that are going to be rolling through today for this early stream. You get me? Two of them are already in the backstage. Y'all know them. It's the fam zone people, them, innit? You get me? And I'll bring them through in a bit. But just before I do that, what I need y'all to do, is hit the like. Yeah, like the stream, because we need man to roll up in this place. Cause it's big game settings. You know them way there. I need you to subscribe to the channel. Yeah. And obviously everyone that comes through today, I haven't done it yet, but after the stream, I will put all their details in the blood clot description, and you better go follow them in it. You know them way there. But yeah, let's not waste no time. You get me? I'm gonna bring the brothers through. You get me? Done though.
No.
Yeah, the beat's heavy.
The beat is cold, isn't it?
Beat's heavy.
Beat is cold, isn't it?
I was vibing backstage.
I was vibes in this morning. The beat's heavy, bro.
Yo, big up my brother Blay, yeah, and obviously I had DJ Denz, yeah. It's not the Cami Rhythm remix, yeah. The thing is, yeah, I could potentially get the Cami Rhythm on an intro or outro, yeah, but I'd need Blay to whitelist me in it. But yeah, big up Blay each and every time. You get me? I thought I'd remix up the intro. I thought I'd try it. Boy, I was there yesterday trying to figure out how to, you get me, do the, what you call it? All of the, do you see that little spin thing? Bro? I was like watching bro, and obviously, man that know, yeah, the village, you can see it in the background, man. Village hidden in the north, you get me? Big up everyone locked inside, though. Let me see who I big up. Bajan Guna, you know the thing with they are nice and early hooks all the time, bro. All the time. Lashes for them Rice clout on this beautiful Sunday, you know them. Hey, looks like Rice is fit. Hey. If Rice is playing, that's a big W. You know what I mean? We got the Chelsea man in there. But the real question is, will you Chelsea man be here for the watch along? I know you man. You see the Chelsea man, yeah, they're funny in it. Cause they like to pull up to the watch alongs when it's Arsenal in it. When I'm watching Arsenal, they love to pull up in it. But as soon as I'm doing watch along on their club, yeah, them man vanish. Them man vanish, bro. They're not about it, man. Hey, I like this. SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series. Yeah, those that know. But you know what? Yeah, before. By the way, Steve. Yeah, if you want to jump on, just shout me on Twitter. You get me? Shout me on Twitter. I know you better find my Twitter in it. Someone can post a link in. One of the mods post a link to my Twitter in the chat, and then Strasbourg Steve, just shout me if you want to jump on and talk about this game, and I'll fling you the link on Twitter in it. But obviously, before we start talking about Arsenal Chelsea, yeah, obviously, Dean, yeah, you know, I want to give you your little stage in it, cause by the way, yeah, I can't lie, I watched that game, yeah, and you man on the transition look frightening, bro. Like there was couple corners, yeah. When you man won that ball back, yeah, and just unleashed, bro.
Problem when they break it.
It was disgusting, bro. I actually felt sorry for the Aston Villa players because obviously they spent a large part exhausting themselves, yeah. And then every time that corner came, yeah, you man said safe.
I was watching it with him. We was watching it together, and I was like, and obviously I want Aston Villa to win. But I could just see this team are serious, you know.
Serious, bro.
They're a serious team right now, man.
Klopp
we were watching it together, man. And I could see Aston Villa not winning, bruv.
Klopp settings. See what the thing is, yeah. This guy's taken over, but he hasn't left Klopp settings in there. He still can dial into the Klopp bit and say, you know what, transition, give them corners, their corner, our goal. That's what we used to do under Klopp, bro. We gave away bare corners yesterday. We just have corners. We're just giving you corners because you know what we do. We just break. And you see what happened You saw what happened in the first. Bro, that happened again. Like 5 minutes later, Nunes skied one over the bar, bro. Like every time they got a corner, we look dangerous, bro. You get me? So, bro, you just gotta as a Liverpool fan, bro, I'm just enjoying the ride because, bro, I didn't expect none of this when Klopp said he's, especially when this new, I thought we was going to get Alonso or something. You get me? When this new manager came in, I didn't even know, to be honest, I didn't know who he was, bro. I'm not going to lie here and say I knew who he was. I did not know who this guy was. And I was feeling, bro, a new manager, no signings. I just thought we would be in the mud.
What I would say to that though is, you see, Salah's involved in every one of those transitions and breaks, isn't it? I mean, if he's not there, it's a completely different thing because he's involved in everything. Salah, like he's the reason why those transitions and those breaks, his control.
I'm happy. I'm so happy you said that, brother. I'm so happy you said that because I've done a thing this morning, yeah, and I gave Salah just a little segment because you know what? People seem to forget about Salah. Yeah, this is what kills it. Yeah, he's the most disrespected player I know, bruv. How can he not be in the Ballon d'Or top 30, bruv? How?
Oh,
I don't understand.
Not?
So
I didn't even know that.
Top 30, he's not in there. He's not in there.
Crazy.
How? That's mad disrespectful, bro. Top 30. There's 30 players you could name that's better than Salah. Is insane to me, bro.
Madness.
Insane to me. And you're trying to right now, like I said in my thing I done this morning, yeah. Right now, who is better than him right now? That's what I want to know because he's got 10 goals and 10 assists in 17 games, yeah. And he don't look like he's slowing down. And he's mad efficient. He'll just won't be around. The next minute, know he's around. And when he's around, you know he's around because the score changes when he's around. You get me? So, bruv, right now, I can't name a better player in the world right now. You get me? If you can, tell me because I might just be biased. I don't know.
Do you know what? Yeah, like in terms of like output and like importance to team and like I guess like consistency and stepping up, I would probably say there's not too many people, if anybody, that you could put ahead of Salah right now.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But I would say, in terms of footballing ability, I think Yamal, even though like he's like so young, like bro, this guy, his footballing ability is out of this world, bro. Like it's some of the Yamal, yeah, is like he's one of those players, yeah, that we've as football fans in general have been saying these type of players are lacking in this day and age, innit? Like he reminds me of like the old school, you know, them Ronaldinho settings where it's just like pure individual ability. All of them there. Yeah, so
they've wiped that out, innit? They've wiped that out of the game because everyone's a system player now. So he's one of them anomalies that just got through the net. Yeah, I'm not one of them system players. You put me anywhere, I'm gonna do this stuff, innit?
And he's 17 and he's 16, 17 years old. I mean, it's not like he's not like he's 30. He's a kid, bruv.
You know you got to do. Just make sure Pep don't get hold of him, bro, and ruin him.
Yeah. But
make sure Pep don't ruin him.
Boy, the way that things are going for Man City right now,
boy,
man are making a job this season. You know them right there. You know them right there.
Boy.
But yo, big up Strasbourg, Steve. You get me? Man, just send in the super chat. And yo, people, if you're going to send in the super chat, you might as well write a message. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that. They love for sending man the peas, but you might as well strap a message to it, innit? And by the way, Steve, I've sent you the link in it. So if you want to come true, bro. Like I said, people, there's gonna be some people's coming through today. I've shouted a few people, so let's see who comes true. But yeah, just quickly as well. Big up Johnny Boy became a YouTube member. You get me?
Wicked, big it up, man.
Man that come and join the village, and you get me, want to become, one of the village leaders. Yeah. Man, rate that.
How do we become a member? I want to be a member, fam. What's going on?
You go. So when you go onto any homepage of a channel, next to it'll tell you you're subscribed, and then next to that it will have something called join. If you hit join, then that's how you get membership to people.
Okay.
But big up each and every time. I big up Sard, you fraud. Look at your WhatsApp. You get me? Did I roll? No, I ain't rolled up. Yeah, I ain't rolled up.
That is hilarious.
You know what? Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. It ain't gonna. I'm on a bit of a break from them things there. Kingdom of Boxing. Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm gonna do the. I think I am gonna do the Nottingham Forest Newcastle watch along. It was between that and the Tottenham one, and I just thought, you know what? I can't be asked. I can't be asked to watch Tottenham right now. I'll be real. I can't be asked. I really can't be asked. But look, yeah, before we jump into the conversation about today, and obviously people start putting your predictions in. I've already did my prediction. Those that watch the video will know. I think it's gonna be a 1-1. And but we got another new member. Yo, we got the Chelsea man. Bro. Hey,
you're killing it.
The village is growing, bro. You get me? The village is growing. You get me? But obviously, before we do start the convo, we're gonna bring in another brother. Literally everybody in the footballing YouTube world knows him, man. He's literally everywhere on everybody's streams, and arguably one of the most knowledgeable people on football. Brother literally watches everything. Yeah, man. At Strasbourg. Look at all the shirts in the background. Look. I don't even. What shirt is that you're wearing, bro? That looks wavy.
Newcastle.
It's a 97-98 Newcastle away shirt. So I've got about 65 different Newcastle shirts. So
he does this thing, bro. And by the way, big up Solomon for gifting 5, bro. The love that man's receiving right now. Yeah. Solomon, you're a bad boy.
You deserve it.
Don't worry.
You deserve it.
Don't
put in the work from.
Well, we're trying, man. We're trying. And you know what? Like I always said, like there's not much I can do for people. You get me, apart from provide the content. But when you do things like this, Solomon, you get modded instantly, bro. You're a mod. You get modded instantly, bro. You get instantly, bro. So look, it's a big day, yeah. And I guess I just wanna start it off, with I just wanna know your general thoughts in it, because obviously, where D would probably disagree with me. I think Arsenal are in a very bad place at the moment. I think we're in a very, very, very bad place. I think that we are on the, you know when you're walking the plank and you're like, if you take that one more footstep, you fall into the ocean. That's where I think Arsenal are right now, innit? Because there's like a. Let's be completely honest, Every single Arsenal fan, went into the beginning of this season just assuming we were just gonna spin everybody. We only had Man City in our vision. Like we was like the only people that are really gonna cause problems for Arsenal is Man City, And I just think we gotta be open and honest and say it hasn't gone to plan. Like we've seen madness with discipline, madness with discipline. We've been hit with a few injuries and one of them has like completely dismantled the way we play football. And in my perspective, we're at the point now where it's sink or swim. So what do you lot think about going into this game? What's your general thoughts, man? Let me know, man. Let me know.
I think one of the things with Arsenal over the years is you've built well from the point that, when Unai left. I think you built well up to a point, but similar with maybe a Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool, or maybe someone like, I'm trying to think of other managers that kind of came in, and Pochettino at Spurs built up to a certain point, but then there were moments in transfer windows, or maybe in games or whatever, where that next step to get over the line, it's not quite there. And you mentioned Liverpool, that people weren't really looking at them to be title contenders. Some people saying this is going to be a huge, like seismic drop off. They upgraded or got a manager that isn't far off a Klopp. Hell, maybe could do better, but nobody thought of that. And the fact that they didn't do much in terms of signings, they got Chiesa, who hasn't played for them at all, really, and then Mamardashvili, who in the future will become a very, very good goalkeeper for them, no doubt. From a shot-stopping side, I think he's got to work on other things in his game. But so on paper, they were going into the season with low expectations. They just weren't on people's radar, maybe. But I always thought like, yo, they got a manager in who I think at this moment in time is arguably better than Arteta. Yes, it's the Eredivisie, but if you look at what he done at AZ Alkmaar, what he done at Feyenoord, that's a resume at least. Arteta doesn't have a resume before Arsenal. He has work experience, but then it's not a resume of concrete accomplishments, style of play, man management, etc. Because he was never the guy at City. He was the assistant to Pep, which is a cool gig. But managing a first team versus being an assistant to a team is two different worlds. So I think this is kind of showing right now is that Slot has years of managerial experience, whether the level you respect it or not, is translating, because that's what good coaches do. They just do their job. So yeah, I just think, if Liverpool maybe had some very good signings going into this window, I would have said, okay, yeah, they could go on to win the Premier League, because Man City, it looks like they've gotten a little bit stale, and Arsenal have really gotten stale, to be honest. And it's kind of showing, Mikel Merino, it's an okay signing, but you needed to make a signing. And I said this on the terrace a few times in the summer, someone like O'Reilly from Celtic, who won the game yesterday for Man City, because he was that left-sided 8 that showed out in Europe for Celtic. And I watched that. I watched him play for a few years at Celtic. He showed out in Scotland, which is whatever. But then in Europe, he was a standout player. And, just stuff like that where it's like, yo, Marino, he's solid. It's whatever. But, like, if you want an X Factor signing, O'Reilly was maybe a guy that's like, okay, yeah, I see it. But I just think it's gone stale at Arsenal. And there are times under Arteta where last year in December, you had a 3 or 4 game winless run, cost you the league. It was Fulham, West Ham, and I think there was another one in there where you drew or lost. And it really just kind of hit a, like a bump in the road, and then kind of cost you. So that's kind of how I thought about this. Now, in terms of game today, you're in one of those ruts, and it's hard to see how you're going to get out of it. This is either going to be, you're going to continue to be in that rut, or you're going to get out of it into the international break. So I kind of see you staying in the rut, to be honest. Chelsea are a good side at home. They don't have a great record versus you guys, but this is an opportunity for them, which I think they should be looking to really take. So that's kind of my thoughts on it, really.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I feel like what you're saying is basically the truth of what the actual scenario is. Even when you're saying things like he hasn't got a resume and stuff like that, I feel like that is exactly what it is. Like, he doesn't have a resume. He's got to learn on the job. Like, he has to learn that he's getting experience as he's going along. That's what I feel like is probably what people make sure that you doubt him a little bit more, because sometimes some coaches, they can get past these points. And we've been obviously in a lot worse situations before, where Arteta's come out of deeper dumps, but you've never come out of a dump where you're expected to challenge for the league now, because we're not 8th anymore. So when the expectancy levels changed, so now you're expected to challenge for the title. You've now got to do that for 5, 6, 7 seasons in a row. It's not about now doing it for 2 and then dropping off or anything like that. So I feel like that's probably where your point is probably spot on, because I feel like to rebuild a team 2, 3, 4 times is what a great manager does. They can rebuild a team with different players and go again and go again and go again. No matter who comes in the league, no matter what players leave, no matter what players come in, I feel like that's where we're going to learn about Arteta over time. But what I will say about that, though, to be fair, is it is only his first job. I know he's been there for 5 years, but it is his only first 5 years ever managing a club. So I feel like it just depends on how we look at it. Like, do we look at it as it's 5 years of you and it's your first job, or do we look at it as, you need someone with more experience? It just depends on how you look at it. But I feel like I think
his next job, sorry to cut you off, his next job will tell us what major European clubs or whoever think about that. I think that's what it'll say.
But I feel like these owners, like I say a lot of the time on different streams, these owners are owners that they've like in their history and their ethos. Obviously, are you from America? You're American.
Yes.
Yeah,
Born
so
in
you would
Chicago.
know, yeah, so you would know that they stick by their managers and they end up winning the big trophies. They don't sack managers. That's not their ethos. You know what I'm saying?
Depending on the organization, some are very trigger happy. It depends on what sport, but like
But these Cronkies, I'm talking about Cronkies in particular. They don't.
Yeah.
That's not what they do. They stick by their managers. I feel like he will get the chance to get out of the rut, and they can see how long it will take and stuff like that. And I feel like it will be crunch time for him to go again and go again. Because if he doesn't challenge for the league this year, I feel like a lot of pressure will be on him to kind of get to the point that you need to get to. But what you're saying is right. He is inexperienced and he has to learn on the job. And it's just what you got to do. It's tough. It's tough for him. Rebuilding. We know how many times Sir Alex Ferguson rebuilt the club. We know how many times Pep's rebuilt his team. We know how many times these managers have rebuilt their team. I feel like that's, like I say, that's what a great manager does. And that's what he's got to deal with at the end of the day. It is what it is.
And he has been up against a freaking Pep as well. So hasn't been the easiest start to a managerial career. Like you just straight away, you got expectations, and your expectations is to overcome Pep, which is
and
no
Klopp
mean
as
feat.
well.
You get me? Huh? Yeah, and Klopp, and Klopp as well.
Yeah.
Klopp was there as well. So like, this season most really would have been the most realistic season he could have put up a proper title charge this season, where you've seen everyone else drop off, obviously except from Liverpool, but Liverpool had no expectations, as you said. So this is most of the season that you could have capitalized if you were in good form, because City are showing a lot of frailties right now. But this is where the experience kicks in as a manager. These are the things you should spot and be able to capitalize. Obviously, you can't justify the injuries and the red cards, but now is the time. This is the best time for Arsenal to be capitalizing then. And right now, I think you're letting it slip through your fingers now, because of maybe it could have been the transfer window. You didn't sign the right profile player, or it might be in-game tactics. You never know what it is, because I think that you got the right structure there. It's just that, the final product, like player-wise. I think if a striker, you'll be all right. A proper, like a real striker, not this Havertz doing this striker role. Like maybe a backup left winger instead of Trossard. But like I said, this season is the season where I think Arsenal could have capitalized. But hopefully it's us.
Yeah. Well. Hopefully. hopefully.
I had to put it at the end. Sorry. I know it's Arsenal.
Hopefully it's not you. But yeah, look, big up Older R. Yeah. So look, Arteta and Slot both started their managerial career in 2019, and Slot only has 3 years over Arteta as an assistant. So this is
say only.
Yeah,
only
exactly.
3 years.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
1 year makes a difference. 1 year makes a difference, bro. Work experience is everything.
3 years.
Not only that, sorry not to cut you, bro. Sorry. Not only that as well is I feel like Arteta has come into one of the most high pressure jobs in the world. I feel like taking over the Arsenal job is a completely different thing to managing, like I say, Feyenoord or any of those things. It's a completely different thing. Like that's why it's not just about the English game. It's not just about managing the club. It's about managing the media. We're seeing that with certain managers that are struggling to manage the media. When Ange first came in and the media fanfare around him was so, oh yeah, we love Ange, we love Ange, we love Ange. He attacks with 9 men, he attacks with 8 men. That's all well and good. But I don't feel like Ange has manipulated the media well enough. The managing the media is also another big part of managing a football club in England. And I feel like Arteta he's good with the media in terms of like you can when he speaks to the media, you know he sounds serious and he sounds like he knows what he's doing. But people it's hard to kind of deal with everything in England. It's a completely different league. So you coming into Arsenal is a completely different thing to managing in certain countries, I believe.
And I think that maybe this is evidence of why Slot is doing as well as he's doing coming in. Like I feel like that those extra years of experience of being an actual manager, like he probably came into Liverpool already confident of what he can do to change Liverpool's fortunes. Whereas Arteta, he didn't have any previous experience to draw from. Like, yeah, he could. Maybe that's why so many people say, Arteta is basically just doing what Pep's doing. Because the only experience that he had was, what did Pep do in this scenario? How did Pep set up when this was going on? When this was happening, what did Pep do? And probably his first few years, he was drawing a lot upon that. But I do think maybe in hindsight, it would have been a lot better if Arteta did, like, even if it was like a 1-2 years at like a lower level club, just to build up a bit of like management experience and then take the Arsenal job. But now we're in a position where I don't think that, regardless of what happens today, regardless of what happens in this season, I don't think that the board is going to get rid of Arteta. Like, I think fans can have their opinions on whether they want him or not, but I don't think that he's ever going to be removed from his role. Like, the only time I think Arteta leaves Arsenal is if Arteta goes, you know what? I don't think that I'm cut out to manage at this level right now. I'm kind of taking Arsenal in the wrong direction. So I'll do the bigger man thing and I'll step away. Like, I remember after I think it was the 22-23 season, he did speak a lot about, like, at the end of that season, feeling like, damn, like, am I the right person for this role? Like, and he did do a lot of self-reflection. So at least regardless of everything, I know that he's capable of that. He's capable of actually sitting down, introspecting, and deciding for himself whether he's hungry enough, whether he is qualified enough to go for the role. So where I don't really have faith in the board, I guess I have faith in Arteta as a human, that when it's like enough is enough, he will step down and let Arsenal continue to fly to where they need to fly to, innit? But look, before I do the next super chat, I just want to say, by the way, people, there's 138, we're at 138 Bumper Club here. You know what, people, morning streams, they clearly bang. They clearly bang in it. I've put Famzone TV in the title, and I've put Strasbourg Steve's channel in the title. There's no reason for you lot to not click on their channels and just go and subscribe to them. Like, obviously, everyone's doing their thing. We're all trying to grow together. It's not just about us. And remember, these man, they're part of the village. They're part of the village, and one of the rules within the village is we support other people that do creative things in the village. So go and show them some love now. You get me? I expect these men to tell me, yo, I hope, man got bare subscribers off your stream.
Hooks raid.
Yeah, all them things there, blood. So big up Tariq Rashid with a super chat. Hooks, my brother, most of your fan base wants to blame anything and anyone, including new Champions League format, except your manager, who I think is the main one who should take the blame. And you know what, I've got even a little bit of a personal opinion on that one, which is there's Arsenal fans who are coming after me before calling out the club. You know what I mean? Look, because obviously, like, when I started,
it's your fault.
No, but look, it's the thing, like, obviously, when I first started doing this streaming thing, and like, I was jumping on Never a Foul, and I was jumping on Big Six Bands, and then I started doing my own thing, and I was on South Football Corner. Like, I was very much in a like, I'm feeling what's happening right now. Like, I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I'm a person who, like, I don't attach myself to any like specific kind of ideology in it. Like, I'm not married to Arteta. You get me? Like, it's not till death do us part. Like, it's not through sickness and health. Like, I don't have to do that.
Arsenal. It's Arsenal
exactly.
that you're,
Exactly. And what I do is, when I'm presented with new data, new information, that's how I form, like, my opinion going forward. Like, I don't attach myself to one thing and I must live by the sword, die by the sword. I'm not that kind of person. Like, with each game week that happens, I will see what is going on and I'll be like, okay, this is where we're at right now. And my problem is, and why I've kind of shifted a bit to like, okay, I've lost a bit of faith, maybe he's got to go, is because I've been seeing him repeatedly offend. Like I've seen him make the same mistakes over and over again. And for me, if you're not going forward, and in my personal opinion, you're starting to move a bit backwards, you shouldn't be doing that at this point. You know what I mean? We're 5 years in. Like if this is happening in year 1, year 2, maybe the start of year 3, I'm like, all right, cool, it makes sense. But I can't say now he doesn't have experience, because he has experience.
Yeah.
Because he's been the Arsenal manager for about 5 years now. He's seen the lows. He knows where he came from. Do you know what I mean? He's the one that gutted out the club. He's the one that said, look, this is the problem. And if I remove this problem, we'll fly. This is him. So now, the things we're facing now, yeah, in terms of look at the run we're on now. I saw that same poor run last season. I saw that same poor run the season before. I saw that same poor run the season before that. Arsenal is notorious for having a poor October and a poor November. But 5 years in, this is one of the issues that you should have been solving at the club. And you haven't. Well, I mean, I say you haven't. Right now, you haven't. I'm not ruling out the fact that we could punch up Chelsea, yeah, and then go on some mad spree. I'm not ruling that out at all. Because it could happen. Do you know what I mean? It could happen. Like, we know what football's like. It would be very easy for Arsenal to go on like a 3, 4, 5 to 10 game win streak, and then Man City draw a couple games in that, lose a game, Liverpool draw some games, lose a game, and then obviously everyone's looking at the lay of the land a bit differently, innit? And if that happens, then maybe my opinion will change at that point, because now I'm believing again, because you're giving me something to believe in. But I can't blindly believe. You get me? Especially when I was the last 4 or 5 years of Wenger, I was Wenger out. I was Wenger out. Like I had enough. Like honestly, I had enough in it. With the whole hierarchy, I had enough. But now I'm looking at Arteta's first 5 years and I'm going, it's actually worse than Wenger's last 5 years. And I wanted Wenger out. So if I want to be like consistent with myself, I have to apply the same standards, no? Do you get what I'm saying? And it's a bit it's a bit annoying that, you know, even for me as a fan, yeah, that my fan base, instead of saying things like, why are we building up so slow? Why are we relying on set pieces? Why are we constantly just cutting in and throwing crosses into the far post instead of, you know, patterns of play, triangles?
Why is Trossard persistent at the 10 instead of giving one area shot?
Exactly. Like why is my fan base not calling out these things, but instead they're saying, the ref gave us another red, or we've got injuries, or the ref did this or the ref did that. Like we can't control that. We actually cannot control that. There's nothing that anyone can do or say that will change that. That's something that Arteta, as the manager, needs to acknowledge. Okay, maybe we do get it a bit harsh from the refs. Maybe the institution is a bit against us. But do you know what I'm gonna do to ensure that doesn't happen? I'm gonna tell my players, you know what? Let's cool off on wasting as much time as we do. Let's not do things as slowly as we do to potentially antagonize the ref and antagonize the opposition team. Let me not be constantly outside of my box and touching the ball before it's even gone out of play. Like, let me not give the refs any reason to potentially target Arsenal. Let me, in conferences, when I am asked about refs and refereeing standards, let me not comment, or let me try and find maybe a few positive things that I can say about them, so the referees don't go into the game already thinking, yo, Arsenal and Arteta are against us. So, you know, confirmation bias, innit? Do you know what I mean? So I do feel like as a fan base, we need to, you get me, start addressing the right things in it, because the club, we can control that to a degree. We can, to a degree, as fans, we can control that. And my evidence for that is the only time I've seen the Cronkies react like this is when they said, yeah, we're going into the Super League. And all us fans said, no, we're not. Because I was there. I was there at the stadium. Yeah. Bro, we was all over on buildings, standing on top of the armory, on top of it, singing songs, throwing off the flares. Bro, you had the helicopter in the, with the guy with the camera, like news, like 5, everything, yeah, was focused on, I would say, arguably, Arsenal and Manchester United fans did the most during that period of time. And they were like 2 of the quickest to respond. Like the Cronkies pretty much said immediately after that, okay, cool, no, we're not doing it. And they immediately bust out. They said, bun this. Yeah, man, because they're all over the news now. It can affect their P's. So look, we can control that. Obviously, before we move on, there's someone else we're gonna bring in. You know, man like Matt. You get me? Back of the neck podcast. Another dude.
People. Yeah, you go. Hey, listen, I'm at work. I'm at work on break, innit? So I had to do the virtual background and
that. Yeah, obviously. So look, yeah, obviously you're on your break at work, and you know, let's speak a bit, I guess, more specifically about the game itself now. Look, Arsenal versus Chelsea. Yeah, I guess maybe tell me what are a few of your concerns going into this game, and where do you think potentially Arsenal can get the victory?
Listen, our record, I don't think we've lost there. What, in the last, is it 6 games? Is it 2018, if I'm correct? If I'm wrong, let me know, guys. But we haven't lost there for a while. We've gone there and won with worse teams. Listen, we even picked up the draw when Martinelli did the crazy run, whatever. I feel we're good. We're good against Chelsea. My only concern is in most recent games, we've been very pragmatic in the last, 4 or 5 games. And that worries me because, listen, Chelsea going forward have looked very good. Like, we can't shy away from it. Defensively, they can still get got at. And again, is Palmer playing? Is he not playing? I think if Palmer don't play, we beat him. Definitely. That's just my personal opinion. I think if Palmer plays and we don't have Rice, as I'm hearing he's out, that's a concern.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I feel like I've been saying for the last week or so on different streams, this game is a battle of midfield. It's a real intriguing battle. Even as an Arsenal fan, as much as, of course, I believe that I want to control that midfield and stuff like that, I'm quite intrigued to see their midfield three against our midfield three, just to see what level and how it kind of works and what systems they both play. I'm intrigued to see it. I can imagine the neutrals are watching this, but the Rice Party, Odegaard versus Lavia, Caicedo, and Palmer is a real battle of midfield to see like who can really control that. And I feel like if they do play Lavia and Caicedo, I feel like I've been saying, Lavia is so good on the ball, but off the ball he's a little bit suspect. That's where I feel like we're gonna get our joy, because Odegaard's back, and I feel if Caicedo's running left, right, up, down, trying to cover Saka, trying to cover Martinelli on both sides, I feel like that's where the spaces go. You're going to have to play for Caicedo to run around a lot. And I feel like that's where our midfield three is probably on paper a little bit more balanced, but theirs is catching up ours quite quickly, because Caicedo was showing a lot of industry, and he's like the modern day Kante in a sense, with maybe a little bit better on the ball, but he's the modern day Kante. So they've got a serious, and obviously we know what Palmer, what he's capable of, and Lavia is basically their version of Party. So I feel like it's a real intriguing battle, which I think they will play that through. I mean, I can't see why they wouldn't.
Do you think, I think for me as well, like, don't know how long people have been supporting Arsenal, but it's a PTSD thing with Arsenal when you go to these type of grounds, because you kind of think, I want to believe we're definitely going to get the win, but you think, been there too many times with you lot, and you've done it many times at Stamford Bridge, and I think that's a concern as well. But when I think about it, United had loads of chances against them, loads of chances, and United are not the best team. Like we've all laughed at Man United, how they played Bruno, this, whatever. We can do it. It all depends on the whole thing about up top. Do you know what I would do personally? I would start Jesus. I know it sounds mad, but I think I would start Jesus, because
instead of who?
I think Kai, it sounds crazy.
Havertz.
Listen. Hear me out.
Hear me
out.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm waiting.
I know. Listen, Kai's done his thing so far. Whatever, cool. But I think the thing with Jesus, right, he doesn't score you the goals. But you know when he said, I cause chaos, like well, that's his thing. And I feel like we've got to do that with the Chelsea back line. And we'll have Saka, the left side. We want to talk about David, what's his name? Gabriel Martin, as we're calling him at the moment. Yeah. He needs to cook today. So I feel like if you did a Jesus, Saka, and Martinelli, I think that could work. I know what you're going to say.
But if we sort of start, if I would say like on the flip side of that, as an Arsenal fan, if we sort of starting lineup with the way Havertz plays, the role he plays in our team, the level that he's playing at, the consistent goals and assists that he's actually getting. I'm not to say that he's a world-class striker, but he's playing at a level that is good enough for us to challenge for the title. For us to drop Havertz for Jesus right now I would have a meltdown. That you will see a whole different version of me in the morning. You will see the real version of man, fam. There is no way. I mean, even if it works or doesn't work, before the game starts, that half an hour, that 45 minutes leading up, you might as well film me from then. Like, I don't care what happens in the game. If the game happens, I'll be like, oh, you know what, Arteta was right. But if he starts Jesus over Havertz, that's basically that's like trying to be too clever. Do you know what I mean? If Arteta did it, we would be thinking, oh, you're trying to do too much, like that.
I don't think there's any chance, by the way, that Havertz doesn't start. Because think about how out of his way that Arteta went to get Havertz in the first place. Like, he is, like, because he tried Havertz in the first 6 months of last year as the 8. Did not work at all. But then he switched him, I think, around January time, played as a striker from there on out. So I don't think there's no chance that Jesus starts. Maybe Jesus starts on on the left wing.
Possibly, yeah. That could be
expensive thing. But even then, he's been very persistent with Martinelli, who's been very poor for a long time now. And it's disappointing because I loved watching Martinelli play in his first year or two with Arsenal. Like the guy, it was a breath of fresh air, to be honest, to just watch as a neutral. But his growth as a player has completely been stunted for it feels like a long time now. It almost feels like half of his Arsenal career, the first half was brilliant, but then half of it, recently, about 2 years maybe, it's been a lot of poor performances and lack of ideas. Times I feel like, where's that pace that you once had, bro? Where is it? Because you were rapid at one point, and now it's just like, Livramento versus Newcastle dealt with them relatively easily. Inter Milan did. A lot of teams are dealing with Martinelli really easily.
He's just not clever enough. He hasn't got any. He just doesn't. What the facts are, when I see certain players play on the pitch, it makes me think about what they're like off the pitch. That's just how I think. And I feel like when I see what you're doing, the decisions you make, I just feel like, well, you're just not clever in life, bro. That's just how I think. Do you know what I mean? Because some of the things that you do, I'm feeling like, and I'm talking about consistently the things that you do. It just makes me feel like, okay, I know how your brain works. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know how your brain works, and I feel like that's him as a person.
Yeah, so I think what disgusts me with Martinelli, like when he first came, I think it was the second season actually, I said to score 15 in the league, and he did, and I was buzzing. I feel like Steve was just saying, he's lost a bit of that speedy
pace,
and I think he's overthinking too much now. Like, we know he runs with his head down anyway, but before he'd get in that position and that that curve.
I think that's down to Arteta, bro. I think Arteta's the overthinker. I think that's down to Arteta. I feel like Martinelli is the type of guy that has to play off the cuff. I feel like our system is a system. I feel like that's a more Arteta would tell you to stay there and do this and do that. I feel like
work. Let him be free. Because I'm sorry, I don't want to use another team as an example, but if you look at Barcelona, right, and you look at, we talk about Lamine Yamal, right? He's young, whatever. even the centre backs they've got. It's all about freedom. Just do your thing. Because 9 times out of 10 we have so much quality, it will show anyway. But Arteta's so worried about got to keep it so structured, bro. Worse Arsene Wenger teams had better technical ability, and even as bad as we were, we used to win them games like Spurs at home 5-2. Like you win them to like. Nowadays, we're going to a game 0-0 half-time, still 0-0 at 80 minutes. We're like, bruv, like, come on, what's going on? Like, Ethan Nwaneri should be starting. Why are you scared to start him? Play him. I feel like
the Nwaneri thing. I feel like sometimes as well with people like that, you never know how great someone is until they show you. Like I feel like Nwaneri's 17 years old, and there's only so much you can teach and so much you can coach. And I feel like the thing of getting on the pitch and showing that, I feel like he will learn things about Ranieri that he didn't know if Ranieri was playing. They're the things about young players that you just sometimes you feel like, oh, you'll go back to your coaching team and be like, I didn't know he had that character, or I didn't know he was.
You'll only figure those things out when they play professional football.
Exactly. You would never know. And I feel like that's probably more what we probably get more frustrated with, because there's only so much you can see in training. He doesn't know.
I've been screaming this Ranieri thing for time, because end of the day, I know he's young in that, but bruv, you got to let these guys go, because you want these headaches. If he does do well, you want these headaches. This is what top managers have. Like next game, Odegaard's back now. All right, cool. What do I do, Ranieri? That's the headache you want. Yeah. Right? He's playing well. Who plays? Well, figure it out. Right now, you ain't got nothing to figure out now. Oh,
I'll be honest, So obviously, like Matt, you just completely glossed over the fact, like you did it so quickly, that Martinelli runs with his head down. I think that's like the worst quality in a winger that you could ever have in it. Like maybe that, like when you're dribbling, your head should be up in it, but cool, if you're running onto the ball, fine. Yeah, your head, because obviously you're just trying to do the speed thing in it. But I just think that I just think Martinelli doesn't suit our system. Like, don't get me wrong, I think he's dead. Well, he showed me that he's dead as of recent, But I think it's because he just doesn't suit our system. He's the type of player he is. He needs to be in like the way Liverpool play currently. Like where transition is where he thrived, or at least where he did thrive in it. I don't know, with the injuries he's had recently, maybe it's kind of, I don't know, like maybe his legs are not quite the same. But I do think he needs to be in a counter-attacking team. Personally, like
think about him, bro. Sorry to cut you off. Imagine Martin. Look at what Inzaghi's done. His track record with strikers, any and all kinds of strikers at his time at Inter and at Lazio as well. All the different kinds of strikers, not just one type of strike. All these Dzeko, Lautaro, Arnautovic, freaking none of those guys have much in common, bro. If you put Martinelli at Inter Milan next to Thuram, don't tell me he wouldn't cook. Put him next to freaking Dzeko. Tell me he wouldn't cook.
Exactly.
And look at the coach though. Look at the coach and look at and the other thing is too, right now at this moment in time, what player suits Arteta's system? Who is he getting the best out of in any of the three units, offense, defense, and the midfield? Who is thriving at this moment? Who is growing as a player? Who is you know what I'm saying?
I hear good point. Yes. Good point. But don't you feel like, this is my personal opinion, I think where we've missed out in the league 2 seasons in a row, I think Arteta's like, I've got to win it this season. I'm not willing to put in a youngster to try and if and what. Like, we get it. Like, put a youngster in, we might see the best. But I think he's thinking, no, I'm going to do tried and tested, get me the results I need and this and that, which, it doesn't really work. We spoke about freedom of a player. Even 1 year, he will cook. We know he will cook. But once Odegaard went, that was the play. Think about it in our team. That's the only player that could come in and kind of do roughly what Odegaard will give you. Not to the same level, but in the whole through ball, whatever. And that's what we miss. We even below that, we've got freaking Max Doman at 14 doing the same thing.
He trained with the first team.
This is what I'm saying. So like we have that, and
that's crazy.
His stubbornness will get him. His stubbornness is gonna get him. Like, honestly.
But you know what? You see. So now I'm thinking about it. One thing that I would actually like to see, is, and I know that Arteta will never do it because Arteta doesn't like to try new things, but I think that potentially Arsenal would do a lot better, or could do a lot better, if you had Martinelli as the striker with Saka on the right wing and Ranieri on the left wing.
Martinelli, as a striker, yes.
Because we actually, so the way that we play, the way that we currently play, I think having creative wingers is better than having speed merchants in it. Like, I don't think we play in a way to have speed. I feel like we need creative players who, when they get the ball, they'll drive. They'll control. Exactly. So if you want to play like the kind of control, if that's what you're trying to play, Arteta, then what you actually need is in the guy up front to be able to run in behind. And you need the wingers to be able to create. And then you kind of solve the problem, right? And then if you...
That's what Slot did versus Leverkusen. Diaz up top.
Yeah.
And look how that worked. Diaz, I don't think ever in his career played as a striker. At Porto, I don't remember it, and at Liverpool, he definitely didn't.
Also, there's another one, guys. Was Arteta not the same one that when we said we had 55 ways of playing or something like that? And like, I don't see more than 2 or 3, bro. Like, honestly, no, but it's mad. And that's what frustrates me. Listen, I'm all for losing. Losing part of football, that's fine. But there's a way to lose games, and like even the Inter Milan one the other day. All right, cool, we had chances, but bro, when you're in a bad patch, you need to turn it around quick. Because I'm just gonna get into the Chelsea game quickly before I go, but today's so much pressure on us now. It is must win. Like if we lose this game, Liverpool 10 clear? Is it?
Yeah.
And we go into
18 to 28.
2 weeks off international break, and you've got listen, we can't lose today. We can't. We can't. I don't normally say that, but I think we've got to cook them. I'm sorry, we've got to cook them today.
You got to win.
And you know what? Think about what it would change in terms of if they go tonight and win convincingly. Us as Arsenal fans will be annoyed about Bournemouth and this and that, but you go away and go, do you know what? Cool, it's done.
You stop the rot.
Tough away
you
game.
Stop the rot.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Your tough away games, and not to sound bad, but we don't have many tough away games left, do we? I think we've done all of them roughly.
Just Liverpool, just Anfield.
Anfield, really. So we can build a run. Listen, I'm hoping to go Dubai in December as well. Listen, it's possible, guys. Yeah? It's possible. If you got to feed that steak, feed him that steak again, do it. Yeah, let's get the run going. Odegaard's back, and also injuries have been a bit unlucky as well because we had 3 left backs out same time. That's hard. And what's his name? And you forgot him. Tomiyasu. Get rid. Yeah. Done with him. Like, I'm sorry. Like when Japan's announced their squad, he's always in it. As soon as we have a big game, Tommy can't make it. He's got the knee. Oh yeah, he might be that game. Then he's out again and again. And we can't deal with players like our left side suffers so much because when we played Timber there. You got Moreno who's just bedding in. Martinelli that's not cooking. So our whole left side we're low-sided, man. We don't have a killer on the left. And I think it was Hooks was saying about what left winger. No, sorry, Steve, you said about left winger. Someone like a Nico Williams. I want a left winger that gets the ball, looks up and says, you know what? I'm going to give you a step over this time. I'm going to give you a feint. Sometimes I might shoot.
Would you take Anthony Gordon?
Yes,
Gordon from Newcastle.
In a heartbeat.
You know what I mean? Like it's too predictable. It's like when we used to have Walcott on the right wing, you knew what Walcott was going to do: pass and run. Martinelli's the head down, sprint. You can stop him, and that's the thing. We don't have a lot of unpredictability anymore.
I'd even take Harvey Barnes. I'd actually rather have Harvey Barnes on my left wing than Martinelli. Like, and obviously, actually, I'm not even gonna lie. That's full shade to Martinelli because I think he needs to step up his game like with the greatest of haste. But yeah, literally, like there's so many wingers in football that you just think if you put onto that left side at Arsenal, and they don't even
Ademola Lookman for Atalanta.
Oh my! We was in for him, you know. Why
we also got one on loan?
I'm about to watch him play.
Yesterday. We also got one out on loan that looked good yesterday. We gave him away. I'm just saying.
I'm even saying we sold a brother that could have easily played on the left wing. ESR, bro. He's cooking at Fulham, bro. Not only is he cooking, he hasn't been injured. So now I'm looking at Arsenal like, bro, why was you so injured at Arsenal? But now you're at Fulham and you're just flying. So see, it's things like this that makes me go,
Are you like? Maybe I'm off,
Take it easy, brother.
I'll see you when we win. I'll see you when we win 3-1 later. Yeah, we'll celebrate.
3-1. Okay. Cool. All right, sweet. So love for coming through. Obviously, Back of the Net podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe. It is in the title. Just a reminder, everybody's channel here is in the title. There's 177 people in here. Mad thing. There's no reason why you can't be subscribing to these people that are within the village. And also slap the like button. We are going to wrap up soon. So I guess just what I'll say is I guess from each of you it'll be good to get closing thoughts on the game against Chelsea today and leave us with a score prediction.
Yeah. Who's going to go first?
You go first.
Chelsea 1-0. You guys are in one of those stretches where I struggle to see you scoring a goal. So, and Chelsea usually score at home. it's been a minute since they beat you guys at Stamford Bridge, or just in general. Get that. But I look at Arsenal and I'm like, what solutions are you providing to your goal scoring woes? If you plugged in Nwaneri at the starting 11 today, I'd probably lean more of an Arsenal victory or a draw. But Odegaard back in is huge. We'll see if he does it, though. Because sometimes players come back and the manager's like, nah, I'm going to ease you back in. You're going to get plugged in at the 75th minute, 25th minute the next game, and then you start. So I think he'll go with the same thing. 1-0 Chelsea. Unfortunately for Arsenal, but I'll go 1-0.
Yeah, I think we're all intrigued to see the midfield battle, but I think I'm gonna be disappointed, but I reckon it's gonna boil down to the wingers. Madueke, Saka. I think that's where it's actually gonna go, because like everyone wants to see the midfield battle. Everyone's tuning in for that, but we might just null each other out, and then a bit of brilliance from Saka or a bit of brilliance from one of their wingers can change the game.
Neto.
Yeah, Neto.
Palmer.
Can't forget Neto. Yeah. Is Palmer even playing? Is Palmer fit?
I don't know, to be honest. Let me check.
I'm not sure, to be honest. Like,
but I've been told all week that he's not gonna make it. So
Nico Jackson as well. We don't mention him as well. That guy has been okay, yes. Finishing at times very spotty, but sometimes it's spot on. So he's been a threat the whole season. So
he makes the right decisions, because sometimes he has them moments. But I think it'll be 1-0.
1-0.
You need to capitalize on Chelsea's goalkeeper as well, because their goalkeeper is.
They need to upgrade on him.
That goalkeeper stinks, man. But 1-0, I reckon.
I feel like I've been quietly confident all week, but what always happens, you start getting closer to the game, and then you start thinking, like looking at their games, and start looking at their players, you start looking at what's going on, you start thinking, hold on a minute, maybe they can make it click, because they had a game against Liverpool, a game against Man United, where they looked good, but teams got through and had their joy, but all of a sudden it might just click against us all of a sudden. And like a lot of the time, I'm like, obviously I'm still Arteta in, I'm still an Arsenal supporter heavily, but I'm starting to look at it like, hold on, maybe Chelsea might get it together. They're at home, they're playing well, they've got form, they've got like pacey wingers. You know what I mean? They've got this, looking like they've got the same type of team as us in a sense. The only difference I would say is probably more the centre backs, but apart from that, they can get it together. So I'm not as confident as I was at the beginning of the week. But I don't know about the score prediction. I might just leave that one to myself.
No. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. What are you saying?
I've been predicting an Arsenal 2-1 win all week. But like I say, as I get closer to the game, sometimes you just got to look at what other teams are doing as well. You got to be realistic about it and actually say, you know what are they doing? Because that's how you're going to beat them. So I feel like they're on not on form, but they're playing well. Results wise, regardless of the results, they're actually playing well. So it's going to be a very intriguing game. It's going to be a tough one.
I just look at it like this: if Newcastle, Inter Milan, Bournemouth, and then we'll throw Liverpool in there for the draw as well. All of those sides, Bournemouth are a strong middle of the table team. They could maybe nick like 8th place, maybe at best, maybe a decent FA Cup run, but they're not as good as, Inter Milan. So you have a wide variety, the quality of both. They both beat you. And then Newcastle
I would say Newcastle away is probably after Anfield, or maybe it's probably the toughest ground to go. One of the toughest grounds to go in the world.
Etihad as well.
But I'm talking about like as a cauldron
atmosphere.
Yeah, like in terms of like, regardless, no matter how good Newcastle are playing or how badly they're playing, you go to St. James's Park, it is going to be a war. That's just how it is. It's just built like that. And I feel like no matter what, I feel like it's quite hard to compare Stamford Bridge and St. James's Park, I feel like it's built differently. I don't mean structure-wise. I mean, like, I feel like the whole ethos of it is just a completely different scenario. Same as the San Siro. I feel like that's also one of those grounds where you're going to and you're going to war. So I feel like we've had a couple of war games early.
And then, then you look at Bournemouth, freaking Vitality Stadium in the San Siro. You couldn't get any more different. You literally, like, albeit again, they've been playing some great football. They got a nice little crowd there, but
but going to St. James's Park is definitely it's different than going to Stamford Bridge. I mean, like, even though it's going to be a tough game because Chelsea are very obviously good and they're playing quite well, they're structured, but it's a completely different. Like, when you're walking in there, you're not walking in there.
Feel.
Yeah, you're not saying, "Oh, don't throw an area in at Stamford Bridge," but you would say that at St. James's Park. You'll say you don't want to throw an area at St. James's Park to the Wolves, but you would say put him in at Stamford Bridge. It's a completely different atmosphere and game. But yeah, it's gonna be a tricky game today. There's no denying that.
Yeah,
no denying that.
So I guess for me, I can't lie, so for the whole week, even before the Inter Milan game, I thought that this was going to be a score draw, innit? Like, I've been pretty consistent in going 1-1 throughout the whole way, and I mean the reason why I think this is because, well, two things really. I don't think either team will be able to keep a clean sheet, because both teams are having problems defensively, where they're very clear. And I also don't think that both teams will really do enough offensively. Like, we both have quite the lack of clinicality in our front lines. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that Chelsea just punched up Noah's Ark 8-0, but that don't mean nothing to me. Like, that game there, it don't mean nothing to me at all. Like, I don't think you can use that as like a barometer to measure like how well, and also as well, like, Chelsea are not going to play that team either, so it's kind of like a whole different set of players. So
it's like a FA Cup game when you play a National League team. And
exactly. So
don't have too much bearing on that. Yeah.
I think there's a few things that could potentially sway the game either way. Like, I think if we can somehow set up a midfield three of Partey, Rice, and Ødegaard, I'll have a lot more confidence, because I do think that that's Arsenal's best midfield, and I feel like our best midfield would trump Chelsea's best midfield just purely because of experience and maturity. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I know that Caicedo, Lavia, and Palmer, that's a very good midfield, but I don't think that it's ready to go up against the test of like a fully like tuned in Rice, Partey, and Ødegaard. I do feel like if we can get like a real good performance out of Saka, he potentially may be the one that can carry us over the line. But then if Palmer plays, it's like, cool, what Palmer do you get? Do you get the Palmer that hasn't turned up against Big Six teams this season? Or do you get the Palmer that was absolutely killing it last year? And I feel like if it's the Palmer that was absolutely killing it last year, it could be dark days.
I mean, the pressure's on them as well. I mean, because the result doesn't go their way. All of a sudden, you're looking at it like, oh, hold on, you've not beaten any of the Big Six teams this season and stuff like that. I feel like it's a game of, like, I mean, it's on the fine line for both teams, because Chelsea have got to show that they're able to compete, and this whole narrative of can they compete against the Big Six and Palmer doesn't come in big games. That narrative is also, I can also see that online as well. So it's a tricky one for both teams.
Yeah. But
do you guys think Marino, sorry to cut you off, folks, do you guys, because Sofa's, I'm looking at their projected lineups, they have midfield three of Marino, Partey, Ødegaard.
That's because Rice has broken his toe, but I feel like they will do as much as they can to get Rice to play.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree. But I mean, like, I like Marino, Partey, and Ødegaard, I still think is a good midfield. Like, I'm not going overboard on Marino. I still think he had no preseason. He had the shoulder injury. Like, there is a physical level that he still does need to get to. Like, he does need to adapt. Like, there is still a lot of bedding into the system. Like, we play very differently to Sociedad. The Premier League is so much more intense than like, there's things that he has to adjust to. And in all fairness to him, he's come into a poor Arsenal side. So I don't think that's helped with him in the
not
first.
A poor Arsenal side not performing at their best.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean. And he's coming to an Arsenal that's not living up to the hypes that they should be.
Yeah.
But one thing for me I think that's kind of leading me to change my prediction of a draw, and I guess it's kind of it's more of a hopium kind of thing. Is that I'm hoping that Arsenal have seen Man City lose and gone, okay, if we can get the victory here, you get me, it's looking like a completely different story. So I'm hoping that Man City loss will give them the kind of charge up that they need to go on and prove a point. Like Arsenal have to prove a point here. And this is the game where we will find out about the players. Do you want a battle for the title this year? I think this is the game that will show us if Arsenal, the players, because I think this game, the manager's going to have a part to play. But for me, this game is about the players. Do you want to go and win the league? This game.
How bad do you want it?
Yeah, exactly. How are you hungry? You know, like how Pep, I think it was a few seasons ago, he called out all his players and was like, "Look, man, they got to show me that they're hungry."
Grealish, and he started with Grealish. Yeah.
So I feel that's where we're at now. Arsenal, are you hungry enough? Are you hungry enough to go and fight for this title? And today we'll find out. So you know what? I'll go for a 2-1. I'll go for a 2-1 Arsenal victory.
Goal scorers.
Man of the match.
I'm going for Jackson to get the long goal.
I can see Jackson scoring. I think Jackson probably the most likely, or maybe Neto. I would say Jackson or Neto from Chelsea. From an Arsenal perspective, I'd say probably Saka. I'm looking at, if Havertz starts, I would say Saka and Havertz. That's who I think
Martinelli's going to give them problems.
He usually does as well.
I think he's going to give them. I feel like that outlet there with Reece James. I mean, Reece James is not. You never know what Reece James is going to get. But I feel like in these games, it's the chaos that is going to cause problems. Because Martinelli, he does a lot of faffing about. That's what he does. A lot of jinking and throwing and. Yeah, go on.
I want to see if Gusto plays at right back or Reece James.
I think
that's what I want to see. And then we'll go Cucurella.
James and Cucurella.
Yeah, but James and Cucurella.
But he could go because past few times Reece James has been left back and Gusto been right back.
But I mean, that would be for Saka, wouldn't it? I don't know if they would try and change it for Saka. Saka's a big problem for them. I mean, their thing is more about whether they double up on Saka or not. If you're going to be a ball playing team, you don't really want to be doubling up on players because you want to make sure your teams and your players are in the position that they need to be when you get the ball back. So I feel like if they decide to do the double up on Saka thing, that's where we will get more joy. Because you double up on Saka, you give Odegaard.
That's where Martinelli and Odegaard have to take advantage of space.
Exactly, and that's where Maresca's going to have a bit of an issue because he's going to have to think: do I want to double up? And who do you double up on Saka with? Do you tell Lavia to go over, or do you tell Caicedo to go over? It will change your whole game plan. And that's the main thing for me. I feel like we'll see if they double up on Saka or not. Because if you leave him 1-on-1, he's going to give you real problems. I don't feel like you want to be leaving Saka 1-on-1 with Cucurella or anyone, to be honest. Cucurella has good games against him. It's only Cucurella and Ake that really give Saka problems. They're the two that he would.
And Dan Burn did twice, maybe.
Dan Burn had. But I've seen him get the better of Dan Burn as well.
Yeah.
I've seen him get the better of Dan Burn as well.
The home games.
Yeah. But he needs to be. I feel like Cucurella and Ake are the ones that really give him major problems. So
Lewis Hall did well defending against him. Actually,
last game, he did. But I feel like that's more the intriguing battle. What are you gonna do when? Are you gonna double up on Saka or not?
You have to double up on Saka. You have to double up on you.
But who do you double up on him? Who do you double up on him with?
You have to bring back your winger, or you got to figure out. You just can't leave Saka 1-on-1. That's just criminal. That's absolutely criminal because Saka will. You know Saka already. You know what he'll do. You get me?
It also depends. Fullbacks. I think sometimes that the only time you can afford it is when he's just crossing the ball and nobody in Arsenal is really digging in, committing bodies forward into the box to take a risk, because that's been kind of the story of past few games. Like your crosses, Saka's had some good crosses in. Nobody though was got the ball in the back of the net, like honestly, except the Newcastle. Well, the Newcastle game, Rice had that chance at the very death. He just poked it wide left. I think in the Inter Milan game, the header as well. But like the Inter Milan game, it was like there was a lot of crosses, bare crosses, and some of them from Saka were very good, but just nobody. And that's where Havertz has to come into play there.
But that's the thing I was going to say. Even with the not just about the doubling up on Saka thing, what you've got to actually stop are corners now from us. I mean, if you decide to, if Saka's, we can now play for corners. It's a thing of if you got even free kicks, if you decide to foul Saka on a certain part, and you remember how we scored against the second goal against Liverpool.
Yeah,
was, you know what I mean? I mean, you're gonna have to start worrying about those things. So it's a real tricky thing for Chelsea.
Chelsea ain't been good with set pieces this year, man. They ain't been good. They have not been good, and you can really.
It's hard to stop. It's hard to stop, especially if Marino plays as well, because he's a monster in the air. So it's hard to stop all of those players. But then on the flip side of it, we are gonna have to figure out a way to stop Palmer.
Yeah,
it's not one way. I mean, it's not one way. And Madueke has been good. Neto against Ben White. I'm not looking forward to that. So we got to figure out how to stop their players at this. It's the same. It's literally the same game plans for both teams. It's quite intriguing still.
Yeah, wingers. I told you, it might not be the midfield, it might be the wingers. That's what it might boil down to, man.
It could potentially be the wingers, but people, it's oh wait, I gotta just big up this name, innit? Wait, Ryu versus Ken. Man, a Street Fighter, brother. Man, a Street Fighter, brother. So had to big that up. Is that
no Blanca, no?
Man said Blanca.
Can't believe you said Blanca.
Yeah, you know the way there, man.
Can't believe you didn't play Street Fighter.
Is the hat coming off if Spurs leapfrog Arsenal? No, it's not coming off. But when I get the trim, potentially, but no, not right now. It's a bit of a mad thing right now. But look, people, gonna end it there. Just before I do go, I want to say, obviously, big up to Steve. Not only did he jump on the channel, he also sent a super chat. Big up Johnny Boy M for becoming a member. Big up Solomon for becoming a member. Big up Solomon for gifting 5 memberships, and then big up O.R and Tariq Rashid for the super chats as well. Appreciate the support, love the support. Obviously, like I said, Strasbourg Steve, his channel's in the title. Famzone TV, their channel's in the title. And Back of the Net podcast match channel is in the title. Make sure you're subscribing to them. And I am going to be sending you over, to LB in it, Now, we need to show LB, that the village is strong, So I need all of you, to copy this message, and say Hawks Raid fists up again. You get me? Because they got fists up again. You get me? So love everyone that came through, and I will be back for the Nottingham Forest Newcastle watch along, and then obviously the Chelsea Arsenal watch along, and then potentially I'll do something in the evening. So we may even get 4 streams today. Let's see how it goes. But blessings, people, and I'll catch you next time.